Today's video is part of a really fun collaboration called Flippin Frenzy, hosted by the amazing Sonnet Garden Blooms membership group. There are so many talented creators participating, and we've all joined together for this creative thrifted mystery box challenge. Here's how it works. Everyone who signed up for the collab was randomly paired with another member. Each of us packed up a box filled with 5 thrifted items, then sent it off to our assigned person. Kind of like a creative secret Santa, but with thrift store finds. This is the box of mystery items I received from Tara over at the Reclaimed Ranch. She sent me some really fun and unique pieces that definitely got my creative wheels turning, and I can't wait to show you what I do with them. Now, because you know me, I couldn't just stop at thrift flips. I'm also combining this challenge with Sonnet's October Makers Box. This month's theme is all about the holidays. Each month, Sonnet curates this Makers Box according to a theme, and this one is the holiday season. In each box, she includes a thank you card full of inspiration, 2 exclusive decoupage papers from Recycled Treasures, 2 exclusive rice papers from the Painted Photographer, a coordinating napkin for decoupaging, 1 Sweet Pickins milk paint sample, 2 Fusion mineral paint samples, and 2 Debi's DIY paint color samples. Sometimes she adds just a little special gift, and this month she included 3 laser cut ornaments. She also includes a link to her exclusive digital press to download 5 beautiful prints that you can use as well. I love her Santa print, and I will explain all about it later in this video. Now, I sent my box of thrifted goodies to Clarissa at Starfish Cottage, so after you watch my video, make sure you head over to her channel to see what she came up with using the items I sent to her. I'll have all the links in the description box below so you can hop around and check out everyone's videos in the collab. I really hope you find some inspiration in what I create today, and I invite you to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment letting me know which project was your favorite or how you would have flipped one of these thrifted finds. So let's get started. In this project, I'll be using the Sweet Pickins milk paint in the color Red Wagon that was in the October Makers Box. Milk paint comes in a powder form and you mix it with equal parts of water, so I'm using 1 tablespoon of paint and 1 tablespoon of water. Once I have this mixed up, I'll set it aside for about 10 minutes to thicken up. I'll take the threads out of the ends of the spindles that Tara sent to me, and I'll use small dowel rods inserted into the ends of the spindles to hold them while I'm painting. I'm applying 1 coat of the milk paint, and then using my heat gun, I will quickly dry the milk paint to get it to crackle and craze. I'm only applying 1 coat of the paint to these spindles because I want a worn look to this project. Once both spindles are painted and dried, I will use my finger sander and lightly sand the paint away to expose the brown stain under the paint in some of the places. Milk paint must be sealed, and normally I would use the Sweet Pickins oil wax, but the look I am wanting is a softer look, so I'm going to use the DIY white wax. I will apply a good coat of the wax to the spindle, and then I'll wipe back the excess. I found a piece of drop cloth in my stash, but it's a bit wrinkled, so I'm going to spritz it with some water, and using my craft iron, I'm going to iron out all the wrinkles. This month, the digital press prints came with 3 smaller images you can use, but I wanted a larger image, so I resized it to fit an 8.5 by 11 piece of rice paper, and I'm using the water method to tear the edges of the paper. Now back to the drop cloth. I am using the Waltz stamp by IOD along with the IOD permanent ink in black. I will ink up the stamp and lay it down on the drop cloth. Then using my IOD brayer, I will apply even pressure to the back of the stamp to transfer a clean image. When stamping on cloth, it takes a little more ink and a little more time to ensure a good image, so take your time and be sure you hold the stamp in place or you'll end up with a smudge or a shadow. I'm also going to use the IOD Apothecary stamps to give this piece a title, and I'll follow the same steps with the ink and the brayer. Now I get a little nervous stamping on cloth because you can't wipe it off and try again if you make a mistake. It's permanent. Okay, let's bring these pieces together and see what we come up with. I'm using Fusion's decoupage and transfer gel and applying one good coat to the back of the rice paper with the sanded image. Then I'll turn it over and smooth it out onto the drop cloth and add another layer of the decoupage and transfer gel to fully adhere the rice paper to the cloth. Now once that is completely dried, I decided the drop cloth was a little too bright. So I'm using Tim Holtz Distress Oxide ink in Vintage Photo, and I'm going to give a little bit of age to the backdrop. To adhere the spindles to the drop cloth, I'll use a stapler with heavy-duty staples along the back side of the drop cloth. I will also use a bit of E6000 glue between the spindles and the cloth to ensure a good adhesion. To create a hanger for this piece, I'm using an 18 gauge wire from Hobby Lobby in a bronze color that matches the Santa image. I'll pull off a length of the wire and wind it around the spindle, making sure to go between the spindle and the drop cloth so it will hang nicely. Now I could have stopped here and it would have been just fine, but I think this needs just a little something something. So I dug into my stash of florals and created a swag, and I tied it to the spindle, and then I found some ribbon and I made a 3-layer bow and attached that to the spindle as well. Oh my gosh, I think this turned out so good. I love the white wax on the red wagon milk paint, and this Santa print is definitely a favorite of mine. In this project, I'm using the glass jar that Tara sent along with the IOD Santa's Hollow Transfer Set. This is a quick and easy upcycle that takes a plain glass jar and transforms it into a beautiful holiday decor piece. I am going to be choosing 2 different transfers to apply to this jar. Now the holly garland is not quite long enough, but luckily I have 2 sets of this transfer, so I'll use part of the garland from the second set to fill it out. When working with glass and transfers, I like to use a bit of rubbing alcohol to make sure there are no oil spots or fingerprints before applying the transfer. These transfers stick to glass so easily. You really need to be sure you have it lined up right where you want it before letting the transfer touch the glass, or you might end up pulling the transfer off the carrier sheet before you're ready. If you have never used a transfer before, you simply peel off the white backer and place the transfer where you want it. Then, using the transfer tool that comes in every IOD transfer set, you simply rub over the transfer and lift the carrier sheet as you go, and the image will transfer to your piece. If you find that a piece did not transfer, just lay it back down and rub over it again, and it should release just fine. When applying a transfer to a rounded surface, I like to peel back a portion of the backer piece, and then I'll cut it away from the transfer. That way, once I have the transfer lined up where I want it, I will have a way to anchor my transfer down, and then I can easily peel away the remainder of the backer piece and smooth the rest of the transfer onto the surface. And that is all there is to it. Quick, easy, and beautiful. This holiday jar can hold Christmas treats, or you can put a candle in it, or you can simply add it to a vignette for a bit of holiday charm. In this project, I'm using the punched aluminum tray that Tara sent and the Salty Kiss DIY paint from Sonnet's Maker's Box to create another quick and easy thrift flip that can be used for your holiday decor in a vignette or as a trinket tray. I will apply 2 even coats of the Salty Kiss to this tray, letting each coat dry thoroughly. DIY paint is a clay-based paint that can be reactivated with water, which makes distressing the piece very easy. So once the paint is dry, I will take a wet wipe and I'll wipe back some of the paint along the edge of the tray and on the high points of the embossed image to bring out some of the silver in the tray. Because the DIY paint is clay-based, you do need to seal it. The DIY paint dries lighter than what it looks like when applying, but when you add a top coat, the color will darken back up again. And I am using the DIY Big Top to seal this paint. To give this piece just a little bit of glam, I'm going to be using the Alchemy Opal Magic Wax in Vintage Silk. I will use a Q-tip to apply the wax to the areas where I just distressed the Salty Kiss paint. If you are interested in the Alchemy waxes, which there are lots of them and I love them all, I can leave a link to a stockist in the description box below. Now I could have added more to this tray, and I thought the IOD Clementine transfer would have looked perfect with the stamped image, but sometimes simple is best, and I really like how this turned out. It is a simple piece that can add a bit of grounding to a vignette, or it can be a functional piece for a candle or a trinket tray. Let me know how you would use this piece in your home. In this project, I'm using the hand-turned wood piece that Tara sent. I love the wood on this, but it is a little bit rough, so I'm just going to use some sandpaper and smooth it down a little bit. I want to give this piece a holiday feel, but I also want to be able to see the wood grain. So I'll use the Fort York Red from Fusion that was in the maker's box and a little bit of water to create a stain. Then I will apply it to the wood and wipe off the excess. Then once it is dry, I'll take the same piece of sandpaper and sand off some of the paint stain on the high edges and around the outside of the piece to expose some of the natural wood color. The Fusion Mineral paint has a built-in sealer, but when it is watered down and used as a stain, it is best to seal it for protection. And I want the color to be a bit darker, so I am using the Sweet Pickins oil wax in dark to seal and stain this wood piece. The oil wax needs to soak into the piece for about 10 minutes, so while that is soaking, I am taking the napkin from the maker's box, and after peeling off the back ply of the napkin, I am fussy tearing around the image. You can use the water method, but the napkin is so thin, I find it easier just to tear it carefully with my fingers. The wood piece reminded me of a candle holder, so I am taking the napkin and decoupaging it to a battery-operated candle. I'm using the DIY liquid patina to adhere the napkin to the candle. Napkins can be a little delicate to work with while decoupaging. I use a soft bristle brush and a light hand when smoothing the napkin to keep it from tearing. Once the oil wax has had time to soak in, I use a lint-free shop towel to wipe off the excess. I also use a shop towel to hold the piece, or I may run the risk of leaving a fingerprint in the oil wax. I love this color. The dark oil wax brought out the wood grain and deepened the red perfectly. And this candle holder can be flipped over and used with either opening. Let me know what you would have done to flip this thrifted piece. In this project, I am using the beautiful music paper from Tara and a clipboard. As soon as I saw this paper, I knew I wanted a holiday clipboard that can be used as decor for an office space. I am using the Fusion Decoupage and Transfer Gel and applying a starter strip and a thick coat to the board. Then I lay the paper down and apply more gel on the top. I also use a piece of balled up plastic wrap to smooth the paper down and really work the gel into the thick paper. I'll work my way down the board and around the clip. Now the plastic wrap does not create friction, so it minimizes the chance of tearing the paper. Once it is completely dry, I will use my finger sander to remove the excess paper around the edges of the board. To make sure it is completely sealed in, I am applying 1 coat of Wise Owl varnish in matte finish to the entire board. The Winter Botanist transfer from the IOD Holiday Release is a fan favorite, and I can see why. This transfer set is packed with so many beautiful images. This entire page is exactly what I want to use on this clipboard. So I cut out all of the pieces and lay them out, then start applying them to my clipboard. Now the area around the clip is a bit finicky, but it is so worth the extra time and patience once it is done. The tree in the center is so beautiful. I may have to get another set of this transfer just for that tree. To make the tree pop and give this board a finished look, I am using the Manor Green by Fusion that was in the maker's box. I am just dry brushing around the edge of the board, and I feel this little detail gives it just a completed look. But wait, I need to add one more thing. A beautiful red velvet ribbon to finish it off. I absolutely love this piece. Let me know in the comments if you would add the ribbon or if you would leave it off. Wow, what a fun project day. I had such a great time transforming the thrifted items Tara from the Reclaimed Ranch sent to me and mixing them with the pieces from Sonnet's October Maker's Box, plus those beautiful IOD holiday transfers and stamps. I hope you enjoyed following along and that you found a little creative inspiration for your own holiday crafting. A huge thank you to everyone who watched. It truly means so much when you spend part of your day here with me. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming DIYs and creative projects. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment letting me know which flip was your favorite. You'll find a link down below in the description box to the Flippin' Frenzy Holiday Edition playlist, where you can watch all of the amazing creators from Sonnet Garden Bloom's membership group and see what everyone made with their mystery boxes. And don't miss Clarissa at Starfish Cottage because I sent her a box. Trust me, you're going to want to check them all out. Until next time, remember to keep practicing random acts of crafting. Bye for now.